Add it up. I'll record
What are you recording?
us.
All right.
This whole thing.
I'm doing it right now.
Do it.
All right, we're live.
Make your dreams come true. Thank you, Spencer. I'm so glad you chose mine.
Yeah, you know, it's I respect the decision. Something different.
Yeah. I was like, we've done me and we've done Teddy's. Let's try one of Alex's.
I think it might draw in more viewers.
Is that a pun?
Yeah, no, I didn't draw. I clicked clearly by the
Digital
marks.
artists are artists, Alex. I won't have you.
Well, yeah, but
bemoan
I
them.
don't have like a fan. Well, yeah, but like even digital artists have like the fancy pads they still draw on, right? With like the things.
I think paint artists are up there too. I don't think that there's a place for them.
Okay. Let me put it in. Well, Teddy's already shared it to the
Yeah.
first.
It's a specific demographic of people.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Pretty exciting.
I'm happier every time I see it.
That's a good start.
Good start.
That's for good art. You can get a better way to
Good start. Start.
This is where it ends.
What's the opposite of
This is it. This is my masterpiece.
Right. You're right. Sorry.
What's the opposite of Final Fantasy?
Like last?
First Fantasy?
Or no, yeah, first fantasy?
Yeah.
Or
This is Alex's first and final fantasy art.
that's true. Well, no, we don't know that. Maybe this is a thing. Like this will push Alex to make some more of this.
I
Push the limit
unironically
of what's
love
humanly possible.
I love Ringo Starr's MS Paint art. Have you ever seen it before?
No.
It's amazing. Yeah, Ringo Starr has done MS Paint art, and it is my favorite. Just Google Ringo Starr MS Paint art, and it's glorious. He used to share it a lot, and they make me very happy. He was very proud.
Ringo Starr from the Beatles.
Yeah. I guess he discovered MS Paint one day.
Yeah, I got some of these in here.
They're pretty good.
These exist.
Those two, I would suspect, are his. Your baby.
Your baby.
Yeah, is he saying your baby or yeah? But yeah, it's like a British person.
It's up for interpretation. You know?
That's true. Good art is always up for that. So yeah.
Really like what? $50.
I think that art should have the price of the art in the art itself. I think that needs to be more commonplace.
That's how you know it's art.
Right. Because you gotta buy it.
We got no viewers yet, except for I guess me. I'm viewing. Well, I'm you know what? I have it paused, so I'm not even watching.
It was me.
How
I'm
will
the
you know
one
what
watching.
happens if you're not watching?
Guess I'll have to find out afterwards.
See how this little thing
Go
goes.
back. I have to go back and watch it.
Your baby.
Your baby. I haven't looked.
This is the big news in Button Mapper Central. Ringo Starr does MS Paint artwork.
Your
Sells
baby.
for approximately
one's-
$50.
Your baby has to be the best one.
Well, Your Baby and Watt are they're very similar. You can see the styles or where he's getting his style. So they got like the background.
What? $50. It's so fucking good. I would pay for one of these to like frame it, you know,
Yeah.
if you're selling it.
No, absolutely. These are frameable.
Yeah. Like that's by one of the most famous musicians of all time.
It's like, buy his CD? No. Buy his,
Your baby.
buy his your baby.
I want to see AI's interpretation of Ringo's art.
I don't know if they can do it.
Yeah. It's not up to
It's
that
too
level yet.
imperfect.
Irreplicable?
No, well, no. The
Yeah.
problem is that the AI lacks that the flaw of humanity that Ringo is most definitely bringing to these pieces, right?
He embraces
It'd be
it.
too- yeah, it'd be too perfect.
Yeah.
Like you can tell he just did all this with a mouse because like it's just like some of it's just like the lines are really off, you know.
hmm
And if you did like the AI, it'd be like really symmetrical and good. So it would lose the personality.
That's true.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's
could
also
ask it,
extremely
though.
intellectual, you know?
We could
That's
ask
true,
it.
yeah, we could run it through the dungeons.
That might be too obscure for it, though, right? If we ask it to replicate it as Ringo Starr MS Paint art.
How much art is there?
3.
Is the website still
Three.
up?
There's 3 arts.
If you go to ringostarart.com,
I don't want to get into that. I feel like,
let's see.
maybe it'd be okay. We could try it. Ringo Starr art.
Is this MS Paint art? It's a picture of him on the front page just holding one of them.
Okay, so some of these are actually kind of good, like these star ones.
Yeah, those are cool. Those are cool. I don't think those are MS Paint though. I think that's just paint, like life, like actual paint.
Okay. There it is. There's the Watt. That was 2007. Your Baby was so he in 2005 he created Your Baby. It took him 2 years to come up with Watt.
What? Face and flowers. Pretty good.
Badfinger, that's pretty good.
Oh wait, no, maybe there's like a collection here. Oh no, there's a collection. Okay, yeah, Badfinger. Yeah, okay.
I'm obsessed with the shit, the shitty MS Paint ones. Hold Me, Love Me from 2007 is terrifying. $1,000.
You got to pay for quality, dude.
Holy shit, Ringo! Dude, what happened to $50?
This is incredible. This is amazing.
Ringo! My Google Pay just popped up with my credit card,
Yeah.
and I'm so like nervous that I'm gonna accidentally click and buy "Hold Me, Love Me" for $1,400.
This is what you wanted. You wanted a frameable Ringo Starr artwork.
It's true.
So here you go. And clearly this one needs the love. I mean,
Hold me,
I
love
don't-
me.
I don't
'Cause
feel like
that's
it's
like
really
the-
received that, you know?
That's the Beatle lyric, you know. Hold me, love me. But who the fuck is this?
Someone that has not been held or loved
Right.
in a
It's
Night-
since 2007.
One of them's called Night Boy.
wait, hold on. Which year is that? What year?
2005. It's like kind of in the middle. He's
Okay.
looks like a terrified old boy, old man.
Is that? Oh, I was thinking of the movie Old Boy.
Yeah.
Oh, I see Your Baby. Nobody's bought Your Baby. It's not sold out.
It's
Your
digital
baby's
now.
going for a high rate these days. Night Boy.
Night Boy looks distressed.
Yeah.
That looks like Frankenstein's helper.
Oh, Igor.
Igor.
Oh yeah, Igor.
Yeah.
Yes, master.
He does. He does.
Yes, Yes, Ringo.
We will bring the creature to life on MS Paint.
No is also pretty good. I think that's a sleeper hit too. There's some weird colors choices there.
No. More like yes.
Is it time? Look at that one. I like that one.
Yeah. Is it time?
That guy looks like a menace. That guy looks like he's gonna bomb the Capitol or something.
And time is in single quotes. I don't know.
Help's
It's not
pretty
even
good,
like double
guys.
quotes.
Help is how I feel when I'm looking at these.
These are quite good.
Bad finger. That one's good. I love these.
That's like his James Bond interpretation. Bad finger.
Oh.
Bad finger.
That makes sense.
A man with a broken thumb.
He couldn't write the song "Bad Finger." There's not enough like octopuses and stuff in it, you know.
Yeah.
True.
It wouldn't be a Ringo Starr song. Man in Blue Hat in 2008 looks fucked up. Like his eyes, he looks like he's on something clearly, and that's Man in a Blue Hat. That's clearly like a policeman, and he has
I
blue
have to
lips.
respect that so he took breaks in 2006 and 2009, but then he
You
did
gotta.
a non-stop stretch from 2010 to 2020. Did not miss 1 year.
Oh my god, 2008 big close up. That one's good.
Well, Teddy, good artists, they gotta refocus, and then once they've understood their craft, then they can crank it out, and that's where they make their money.
Yeah.
Oh my god, in 2008 he realized what the circle tool was.
Yes,
Because there's a piece all about that.
he's like, you mean I don't have to draw them? I don't have to draw. I don't have to draw them.
I don't have to draw the circles.
Hey, Paul, I don't have to draw them.
Hey, George.
So, Alex,
you're dead.
how did you find out about the infamous MS Paint artwork from Ringo Starr?
If you go to Google Images and type it in, one of the first things you'll probably see is a Game Grumps thing where they were talking about it one time, and I was like, "What?" And then I went and looked it up because they were talking about how amazing it was, and I was like, "I have to see this." So then I went and saw it. You know what? After 2008, things start to improve. I'm looking. Some of it still gets kind of questionable, but there's some like good stuff in here. 2011 has a pretty cool, like a big peace sign one. That's pretty cool. 2012 has some good stuff. I think he had abandoned MS Paint by this point, though.
Like making badges, like the star badge or the star circle.
They're good. I mean,
Enough.
yeah, good enough, I guess.
Yeah.
I have to say, in a whole year's worth of work, the sheer volume of artwork that he created, staggering. I can really see what he did with his retirement.
Like, it's fucking Ringo. Well, dude, he's not retired. He still makes music.
And Microsoft Paint art.
Oh my god, go to 2000. What am I on? Go to 2013 and look at Timberland. I can't even describe what it is I'm looking at.
These forests is pretty nice.
Timberland. This one's definitely in paint, although it looks like he's working with like.
He slipped back to his old ways.
It looks like he's working a little bit with some kind of patterned background as well with the stars.
Yeah, and some of it looks like clip art, like the whatever that little green thing is, almost.
Definitely
Looks like
clip art. Yeah.
Yeah. He just went on fucking Bing and was it was like Little Green Goblin.
I want a little goblin for my next painting.
I need a little goblin. I don't have to draw the circles anymore. What else do I not have to do anymore?
I found a shortcut for the circles. Hopefully there's one for the goblins.
Jeez. All right, I gotta stop looking at these. I could look at these all day. Nobody cares.
Well, we've done it for 13 minutes. That's about enough for me.
Yeah. We could start the episode, and if people want to pour in, they can. If not, whatever. Sure. In terms of
Well, this is an impromptu Game Talk Live, although we've known about it for weeks.
yeah, we didn't announce
we
it.
did pretty bad. We did pretty bad.
Surprise.
At announcing this. Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like at a certain point it should be expected. Maybe we haven't gotten to that point yet, but I feel like
I mean, we've been doing them since like not like Digimon month, but I think I want to say the next month after that, Treasure Month.
yeah, we definitely did it for Treasure Month. So yeah, it's been going on, but maybe it hasn't kicked in yet. Like, hasn't become a
So
thing.
like, since March, right?
An institution.
You should be lucky.
Wow, we could have a whole playlist.
Ringo Starr should be locked in an institution. See his artwork. Your baby.
Did you see your baby? Yes, we saw your baby. Please come with us.
What? $50?
You gotta be crazy.
What? All I'm asking for is $50.
All I need is $50.
I'm all out of tea. I must restock my tea cabinet. Teddy, you're the party leader.
Yeah. I guess so.
Yeah.
You're the cloud of the group.
Yeah. Oh man, damn. Then what are we?
Uh-oh. I don't know.
The raindrops.
I'm the Kate Sith.
Oh, you're Kate Sith.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna be Vincent Valentine.
Oh hell yeah, dude! I should have
yeah.
been Vincent. You know what? We should duel for that.
No, you're Kate Sith. It's like when you're playing a game on a playground.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you're Kate Sith. I'm Vincent Valentine.
Yeah. No. Like, oh shit.
It's not fair. This is my house.
My house, my rules.
My house. I'm the guest, so I get to be Vincent.
Okay, well, I guess we can journey through Midgar together, take down the nuclear reactor. Before we do, we should probably say where people can find our fantastical content.
Yeah. Where can I find our fantastical content?
They clearly need
Great
help
question.
finding it. So we're here on YouTube. Make sure if you're watching this, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and then click the bell to get notified, because then you would have seen that this is going live. So, you should have been here. Alex, what if they're not on YouTube? Where can they find us?
You can find us on Spotify, on Apple Podcast, and soon we're actually going to have our own section on RingoStarArt.com. Where you can buy our podcast for $1,400 each.
That's kind of
The older, the better. Yeah. And soon you'll be looking back and it'll say, "What? $1,400?" But it's actually going to be $14,000.
What?
Don't miss out.
Yeah, we will raise the prices.
Yeah.
Sporadically and often.
You can call us your baby.
Yeah.
For this small price of $14,000.
I'm going to do the unthinkable today. I guess we can get started. We usually like to do a reverse Q&A, but it seems like there's no one to do that with. But I guess we could actually start with just group Q&A.
Ooh. Ask each other some questions?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm down.
Would anybody like to start?
Do they have to be Final Fantasy related?
Nope.
I don't know. I have nothing.
Great, that opens us up to still nothing.
I thought I would get my
I'll start then.
cogs working.
It's September. The year's coming to a close. Just how have you guys felt about your gaming this year?
I haven't purchased as many new games this year as I had previous years. I've been more focused on. I had bought a couple here and there, but like in terms of like the new releases, I haven't kept up with them, which is something I haven't done in a while. So yeah, I've been like focusing on going back and replaying and playing through games I own, you know, and that's been fun this year.
That's such an interesting question because this year was so different for me. Because I had a lot of time off for the first half of it, and so being so busy, not so busy, but having more of a routine for so long, and then all that just kind of dropping out like almost at once, and it's like nothing but time. You find out like what you would normally like to play, and you get into your habits, and it's been interesting. It's been good. I beat Dark Souls 3, which was weird. A blast. I had such a great time playing it. But I never thought I would really go back to those per se. But I did, and I was glad I did. I powered through the Elden Ring DLC, so I beat that quicker than all of my friends, because they had jobs, there's stuff to do, and I didn't. So I beat them on that, which was fun. It was an interesting thing because I'm usually last in those kinds of things. I'm pretty slow at games usually. And then kind of looked at what my habits would be online. So I played some. I didn't play. I thought I would get really into World of Warcraft, and I didn't. I don't know what the deal was there.
Shit.
It was shit. Turns out, yeah, maybe Terry was right. I don't know. I thought I would. It was like, oh well, I have time now. I might as well get into that while I'm waiting, and I just never did. Yeah, it's been really interesting. It's been fun. Ironically, I think I played RPGs like a little bit less than I thought I would. What about you, Teddy?
This has been weird as far as a year for me too. I feel like, I usually keep a very good backloggery of my content. I just see what I beat, and at some point I just stopped logging it. I just stopped caring. And it's not like I go out and buy a bunch of games either. I mean, I still get stuff on the Xbox Store place here and there, but other than that, not really. I've actually been getting more into watching movies lately. I just finished the prequels and I watched the original Star Wars. And I watched the Mummies, the 3 Mummy movies. I watched like all 7 of the Harry Potters, and just I don't know. It's not to say I'm growing out of gaming. I still game. I've been going through the Zelda games chronologically. That's fun. But I'm like pacing myself really well with that too. I'm not like burning out on it. That was one of my concerns, is that I would. And just on my main channel, Majority, I've never given less of a fuck of like what happens. I mean, I was streaming nothing but Mario Golf Toadstool Tour for like a month there, just for fun, even after I beat it. And lately, I've been playing Link's Awakening and replaying it and replaying it and replaying. I played it like 5-6 times now. It's just such a quick, fun, easy game. I played it like 3 hours. So I've learned to like stop caring about like beating my backlog, because it's never going to happen, and I'm just enjoying the games I enjoy.
Yeah,
The beating your backlog thing is interesting, because with emulation, that would mean theoretically that your backlog is every game that's ever been released.
Oh,
So I'm like,
yeah.
why even go down that road?
I this year, a big part of my gaming has been the Steam Deck. I acquired that, in December, and I play it all the damn time. And with that, I have not only access to Steam games, which like you get for dirt cheap, but also emulation, and then like streaming through like Xbox and whatever. It's like there's so many different, and like I can go to like the Epic Store or the GOG. It's like there's so many different ways to play games on that thing that I couldn't realistically be like, I'm gonna beat everything I own on my Steam Deck, because it'd feel like I'm gonna die playing that thing.
Yeah.
So I've just been picking a game, enjoying it. I did spend a while, like 40 something hours playing the Final Fantasy VII remake this year, and squeezing that thing to all the juice out of that thing that I could. So that was fun. And refreshing to get to actually like enjoy an RPG, and also enjoy an RPG and like not have a deadline. Like ultimately, me and Spencer are going to talk about it at some point, but like we didn't set a deadline, so that way I could just play it. you know, and I'd be like, I have to get done by the 27th, you know,
Yeah.
like sweat, you know, because in some ways that like almost ruins an RPG when you're trying to like rush through it, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it ruins a lot of games. I don't think it's specific to RPGs. It's just about RPGs.
Well, it depends on
they're
like
so
like
long,
the
you know?
length, yeah, like the length of the game, you know.
Because I've noticed that when we play games on here, and this is not I mean, it's just the way of the nature of the beast. It's not like anything you can really do about it, but it's like I've got to beat like a platformer. So it's we do the how long to beat on it. It's 2 hours long. Okay. Like I got to beat this by Friday. And so it's like, do I really take the time to go in every little nook and cranny of the game and try to get the high score on this so I can get, a hammer that helps you get to the end game or something like do I just, am I like buy the book, like just trying to get to the end credits? And I think usually it's just, you just get to the end credits, but it's like, I think you are technically losing something in that. But there's just not enough time in the world for you to do that for every game. So it is nice to play without having a deadline.
My counter argument for that, and this isn't always like it fluctuates, right? Like my feelings about it, but half these games that we like map out, I probably wouldn't play on my own anyway.
100%.
So having that deadline kind of pushes me to complete them.
Yeah, no,
and even though, like with Final Fantasy 2 right now, or even the first one, I think I've tried to play Final Fantasy 1 just on my own many times, and I never did it. And then we did a map out, and I just pushed through, and I had beaten it. Zelda 1, I don't think I would have beaten Zelda 1 if we didn't map it out. And that sent me on a whole nother kind of path. So it's kind of nice to just, I don't know, to push myself in that way. I appreciate the map outs for that reason.
Yeah, that's certainly true. I just think that sometimes with these, there's like especially when like if we present like a Sonic game, and there's clearly like a market on YouTube for Sonic games, and I'm not like part of that. So like I'll be like, yeah, I beat Sonic 3D Blast, and their counter argument would be, well, you didn't fight the real last boss. So what are you even talking about? And I could see their argument, but at the same time, I'm like, you're lucky I played it at all. Like I wouldn't have touched this at all, like you said, if it weren't for this show. So you get what you get. You got a couple other people on here that will do that, and it won't be me. So, but you're right, Teddy. A lot of these games I wouldn't play anyway. So it's like kind of like a catch-22 of did you really play the game kind of thing.
Yeah. There've been some good ones this year, though. You know what though? Even though it was the map out was part of it, but also speaking of just like my gaming this year, I played through Halo 1 through 4, and with the two spinoffs, ODST and Reach. So I played through 6 Halo games this year. Yeah, and that was fun. And it coincided with the month, but at the same time, I think I was just in that mood,
Mm-hmm.
to play through a franchise. And sometimes that's just nice to like focus in on like Teddy's been doing with Zelda, just like focus in on a franchise and just like appreciate a franchise instead of jumping around a lot, which has been nice. I enjoyed that. I'm not playing Halo 5 though. I tried. I played.
That's gonna be. I'm gonna make it a map out. That'll be my map out pick for next year. So you have to play it.
You were gonna jump from 1 to 5. I mean, I'll probably do it eventually.
We'll do a quick recap so we can catch the viewers up.
Previously on Halo.
Previously, yeah, on the 8 Halo games that have come between.
Master Chief died, then he came back, and then he's in space, and then Cortana fell in love or something. I don't know what's going on anymore.
Yeah.
And the Covenant are there, I guess. Let's go.
The Covenant are back, and there's also another enemy that's back, and it's much hairier.
Yeah, and then there's robots now, robot alien things that are also older than civilization, I guess.
Yeah.
All right.
Cut to Master Chief's.
I'll tell you what though, that was fucking fun. Playing through Halo 4 with Teddy was fucking great. That game was bad, but that game is hilarious. So I had a great time doing that.
I wish we could, because I like playing games with you guys. Me and Teddy played through Gears of War together. That was super fun. That wasn't. I don't think that was this year, but still, it
That
was.
was like last year, I think.
But it was
that was
super.
for Dude Month. Yeah, that
Dude
would've been
month.
last year.
Yeah, you're right. That was super
Yeah.
fun. I wish we could play.
October.
Wish we could play a game together more often. I'm sure we could. I don't see why not.
Yeah.
Zelda Triforce Heroes. Come on. I think you can get it back online with
Can you even-
Playtendo.
I already.
Can you even play that?
I got the hard copy. I'll play with you guys.
Oh yeah, Pretendo.
know, can you
or
play
whatever.
that?
Yeah, I forgot that was a. What the we'll have to find out. That would be a stupid one. Let's try. I've never spent time with it though. I have it.
I never
There-
bought it. I
you-
would get it though. I'm sure it's like $10.
You know, there are some PC games that I would love to play with you guys, but I know you guys aren't really PC gamers. Alex has his Steam Deck, but I played Fall Together, or was it Chain Together? That's what it's called. It's called Chain Together. You guys familiar with that one? It's kind of like a meme game for a while, but it was really fun. It was where it's a platformer where you start at the bottom of hell and you're trying to get all the way to the top. And so it's just literally just platforms going all the way up, and you have to do it. But the catch is that if you play it multiplayer, you guys are also
You're chained together?
So there's the physics of being chained together, and everybody has to make the jump right, or else you guys get screwed up. And there's puzzles where there's for example, there'll be like a big line, like a big pole, and if you jump on either side of it because you're chained, it'll like slide you down it. Really cool stuff in it. It was only like 4 hours long, but it was really fun. Games like that. There's a lot of that on PC that I think we could enjoy.
Hello, Terry. Terry's here. Terry,
Hey,
you've already missed the Ringo Starr talk and the WoW talk, so you've already missed quite a bit there.
it'll be archived for you to watch later, Terry. Welcome to Final Fantasy Game
Yeah,
Talk live.
RPG.
Can you guess who
archive?
drew
Question mark.
the thumbnail?
Yeah, bonus points.
All right,
wait for
anybody
you
else
to
got a
remind me.
question? A group question?
I'm trying to think of something that's not like, what's your favorite map out?
This
My
one maybe
favorite map out.
this one might be more for Teddy, I guess. But what's a series of games that you? What's like a series of games that you think you'd be interested in trying, like starting, that you haven't touched yet, or just very lightly touched?
Scrapes. Scratched.
Just tweaked a little bit.
I mean, you know that like I picked this Final Fantasy month because I wanted to play more Final Fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a rabbit hole I'm down to go down.
Okay.
I really want to. I don't want to lean too much into my pick for the day too. It does
Mm.
come from a series.
Okay.
Is it on a console?
And then
Or maybe like genre. It could be genre too that you want to get into.
I'm kind of seriesed out. I don't know. I don't really feel
Put the cap on the series. Yeah.
a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have one offhand that I could be like, oh yeah, that's. I'm really trying to get into that. Maybe like consoles. Like I want to play more Saturn games or Dreamcast games. I don't know.
Okay. I have a question for you. You said that you watched the prequels of Star Wars. I do not want to get into a discussion about that because Alex
not
is
good.
here. Yeah, thank you. That's 100% the truth. But question: is Star Wars something? I never knew you to be a Star Wars person. Are you interested in Star Wars, or where is Star Wars for you?
I don't think I've liked any of the games that I've played.
Wow.
As early as the N64, there's one where like you're piloting a ship around an AT-AT and you have to release the string around it to bring its legs together. You're emulating something from the movie. I could never do that as a kid, and then I think I did it once, and then I got to the next level, couldn't do it, dropped it. I tried KOTOR, didn't care, dropped it.
You didn't like
and that was
KOTOR?
recently. The first one. This is last year. Yeah, I tried it and was like, no.
Wow.
Didn't like it.
Then you're gonna hate every BioWare game ever.
Yeah, just don't touch
Well, I
BioWare.
tried Mass Effect too, and I couldn't do Mass Effect. Didn't like it.
Oh yeah, that's
I'm
true.
shocked you didn't
I
like
forget that's right.
KOTOR. That game is phenomenal. I don't know. Okay.
I don't know. I feel like I'd be the same with like Hogwarts Legacy. Like it looks like a good game, and people rant and rave about it, but it's like you don't get to play as the classic troop or something. I feel like I need like that character appeal, like from
play
the main series.
Battlefront. Like old Battlefront, not like new Battlefront, but like Xbox, like OG Xbox Battlefront, which I think they actually did a re-release of those recently.
I'd like it.
Maybe
Maybe the arcade game.
Mm-hmm. Force Unleashed is pretty good. The first one, second Force Unleashed is, meh.
I liked it. I mean, it was stupid.
You know what else
but
I played?
whatever.
I played
Yeah, it was
another
stupid.
one on my friend's PC back in the day, and you would like run around like these hallways with a lightsaber. I don't remember what it probably was Battlefront, and I think I had fun
that
there.
sounds like if it was a PC, it might have been
Dark
one
Forces or
of
something.
the Dark Forces. Yeah, Dark Forces or like one of those, or Jedi Knight 2 or something, or one of those games,
Yeah.
which is part
Yeah, I
of
don't
Dark
know.
Forces.
But to me, Star Wars is like a movie franchise. I don't really think of it as much else besides that.
I don't know. KOTOR is like one of my favorite games ever. I fucking love that game. That's crazy.
It's a good game.
But interesting. I just never heard you talk about Star Wars much before. It was such like a huge part of my childhood, and now I hate it. it's so weird.
It's Star Wars.
Yeah, how that series has progressed. I can't.
I
fucking
don't
stand
know if I could ever hate it, but I will always point out the flaws, which they're many and they keep growing. But I don't know if I could ever hate it. And like every once in a while, it does surprise me with something. I'm like, hey, that's like genuinely cool, But
I thought about this recently. The reason why I like Star Fox 64 especially as much as I do is because it feels like Star Wars played. That feels like more of a Star Wars game than any Star Wars game I've ever played.
Whoa, hold on.
the one on 64, I don't think it was Rogue Squadron you played. It was probably I forgot the name of the one.
Empire Strikes Back or something.
Or
There's two.
There's a few games.
Well, the one that Teddy's
on
talking about,
64.
I suspect, is Shadows of the Empire.
Yes, that one, yeah.
Which
With,
was
Dax Rindar, right?
Yeah,
That's the name? Dax
yeah.
Rindar. Yeah.
Which was
That's the one he's probably talking about.
I believe now isn't even canon because I think it's just part of the novelization. That's like it's like a between.
No,
Empire.
it is canon, but it's in its own canon now, Spencer. It's in the Star Wars, whatever the fuck they called it.
Oh, they actually
Every-
called it something now.
Basically, Oh yeah, I forgot the name of it, but basically everything that isn't a movie now or like a show is part of its own separate canon, which is basically Disney's saying it in a nice way. Fuck you, it's not canon.
Fuck you, it's not
It's like,
canon. Please
no,
buy
it's
it.
part of the legacy canon now, or whatever the hell they called it.
Terry says that he had trouble with Mass Effect as well, which I did too. Which is a shame because it seems like something I'd really like. Also, he would like to try Ape Escape one of these days, but he's worried because Alex likes it.
You'll be fine.
I like a lot of things, Terry.
Teddy, you were saying that Star Fox felt more like it, but did you play the Rogue Squadron on the GameCube? It was like a launch title. That game is.
I know what you're talking about. No.
That game is phenomenal. And yeah, the first one was on N64, but the
Yeah.
GameCube one was like mind-blowingly good. Like it was beautiful.
All three of those Factor 5 games are really fucking good. And they also did Battle for Naboo on 64 as well, which is okay. But like they just the flight controls and everything in those games are really fucking good. And they're just like for GameCube, they're really impressive. Like they almost, which this doesn't sound like a compliment now, but for the time, they almost just looked like original Xbox games, which the original Xbox was the more the more powerful of those three consoles at the time. They're really cool.
Well, look, if we ever did a Star Wars month, I would be open to it.
Oh, that's a cool month idea.
Star Wars month. Holy shit, that's smart. That would
Sounds like a nightmare though.
No, I don't think so.
Doesn't
I
have to be.
I think.
You should hear me babble about the movies for
Oh yeah, me and
3 hours.
Me and Alex will just yell at each other about the Last Jedi for 3 hours.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, I mean,
we're
I can
just-
partake now.
Did you see the newer ones?
Oh, that's the last. See, the names are so similar. Like First Hope, Last Jedi, Return of Jedi, Return of Hope.
Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah,
Force wakes up.
I have seen 7, and that's that I just saw off the cuff. I did not see 8.
Tagline
That's a
for
divisive
8 should have
movie.
been called Episode 8. Nothing matters. That should have been what it was called.
Fuck the past.
Episode. You know, you know what? I don't want to get into it. Because we're going to be here all day if we start talking about this.
Yeah, and
Save it
Terry's
for the month.
Terry's already mad at us. He says it's quickly transformed into Star Wars game talk. Maybe it has.
It's true.
Oh,
Sorry.
we never initiated Final Fantasy Game Talk. We were waiting for you, Terry.
True.
Yeah, I never answered any franchises I want to get into. Fallout, maybe. I don't know. I've just been kind of feeling it. I started a file on Fallout 3 to see if I cared, and I kind of cared a little bit.
Well,
I've
hold
played those
on,
games
though,
a while.
pal. You got to start at
No,
Fallout
don't
1.
get off my back. I tried, and I couldn't figure out what I was doing, but I also was playing it on my Steam Deck.
Point and click,
Maybe the
baby.
inputs are weird there.
You gotta.
Yeah,
play it,
yeah.
point and
I was
click.
because I was. Well, you can still play it on there. It's not great, but you still play those games because I've played the
Yeah.
Shadowrun games on my Steam Deck, and they play fine.
You can
So,
do a lot of things.
like-
You can do a lot of things. But
You can do a lot of things. Do you want to?
yeah, I don't think you really want to.
But really, do you really think starting at Fallout 1 is a necessity? Do you think it's something? Do you think
I think it is.
Am I moving?
I think you lose something if you don't play that one. Of what the original, because I mean I'm not one of those guys that's like a purist and it's like you have to. The first one's always the best because none of the other ones could have been there because of if the first one didn't happen. Yada yada. I don't believe on that, but I think understanding the original vision will give you a lot of insight as to how it evolved. Because I do think Bethesda respects it. I just
Yeah.
I wish that it was still more of that instead of pew pew pew.
Yeah, I'm not playing it. Even if I get into that series, I'd probably stop at New Vegas because I remember when 4 came out and I tried to play a little bit of 4 and I was like, this kind of sucks. And then 76 just looks like hell on earth, and I don't want to touch them.
I'm shocked that 76 is still going. It's like somebody's keeping that alive.
Yeah, it's weird.
Uh,
Yeah, when they do those press conferences and Todd Howard comes out and he's like, "We got a brand new story for 76," and 3 people clap, or the people they paid are clapping.
Yeah,
It's oh my god, no, that was the best year for that. Whenever they were going nuts for everything, and it was like, okay, they paid them because nobody gives a shit about Diablo Immortal. or whatever,
Yeah.
or whatever the fuck they were promoting that year. It was like, it
yes,
was like, well,
Yes,
Diablo,
yes, where's my money?
Diablo on my phone. That's awesome. That's what I wanted
yeah. It was
ever
like
since
whatever
1996
fucking
or whatever.
conference that was.
Yeah.
It was like, well, this is garbage.
Terry's saying
There's a series I'd like to try, but I don't know that I want to get into the series. Is Dragon Age?
No.
well, if you don't like KOTOR, you're not gonna like Dragon Age.
Yeah, if you didn't like KOTOR, do not. It's KOTOR, but without the Star Wars stuff and with more incest.
All right.
Well, the newer Dragon Ages are even more. They just, I guess maybe I don't know if this is a controversial opinion, but I think they're getting worse and worse.
They are.
okay.
I'm scared for whatever the Vanguard or the hell
Did you see
it's called.
the gameplay of it?
Oh,
It looks so bad.
I'm.
Looks pretty bad.
I wanna like it because I like that world, because I like the previous 3 games. So I want to like it, but at the same time, it's like a action game, and there's like dwarves are making funny jokes and stuff, and it's like every character looks like they're transgender, and I'm like, what is
Yeah.
what is happening to this game?
Yeah.
What is this? This is a Dragon Age. Like the first, but just the first Dragon Age is very KOTOR. It's basically KOTOR. And then from there they get different. Dragon Age 2 is watered down KOTOR. It's KOTOR Diet Coke. And then Dragon Age Inquisition is just a completely different game. So it's like they keep veering away from that formula more and more. But now, whatever the hell this game is.
All right, well,
I
fuck it.
wouldn't
I'll
play
just get into Neopets. That's fine.
There you go.
Yeah!
That's something we could all play together, I'm sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Neopets.
Mm-hmm.
RuneScape. We played RuneScape. Roblox.
Yeah.
I'll take
Hey,
you back
Roblox,
for Escape.
What is Terry saying? He's probably talking about Star Wars now.
Yeah,
He said he never really got into Star Wars. Never clicked with them.
Yeah, you're just saying that Final Fantasy takes a lot of inspiration from Star Wars, which it does. I mean, all the way back to 2. 2 is very Star Warsy, and then they have like some literal like Biggs and Wedge and shit. And then
I know he mentioned 12 is literally a medieval Star Wars, and I'm like, yep. And I love it. Give me more.
do you have a question for us, Alex?
The people play. Hold on. He said the people playing 76 are playing it in denial because he can't accept they got ripped off. I guess. I don't know, man. I think it's just the Fallout fan base. That's like all they have right now. They don't have another game. I guess they have the Outer Worlds. That game was actually all right. I played some of the first Outer Worlds. I didn't finish it, but I played a bit into it, and I liked it. I liked what they were going for, but
I'm kind of done with nerd humor.
That was my problem. Yeah, that's my problem too. It's like it's just one of those games. It's like that new Dragon Age game. It's like you're just not gonna take the game seriously, are you?
Yeah.
It's like
I get like having a sense of humor in your narrative, but not everything. Like it doesn't have to be just a big joke. I'm just kind of done with that.
Yeah. I blame, and I like the movies. I just went and saw the newest one. I blame Deadpool.
Yeah.
It's his fault.
Yeah.
It's ruined
What was the first one?
As a culture. The first Deadpool is 2016.
Oh, it probably predates that.
Yeah, but I'm
fourth
talking
wall
like
breaking.
No, it's true. That does, but I'm talking. It's you know what that is true. There was a bunch of games on like 360 and stuff that were still doing that shtick. I don't know. It's just,
Maybe Deadpool popularized it, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a time and place, but every game isn't the time and place.
Alex?
Sure. I guess I'll circle back to something that was kind of echoed a minute ago, and I'll ask. Teddy sort of already answered it. You can give it an answer if you want to, but if there's any like consoles you'd really want to venture into, like the library store that you haven't really touched in a while, and I'll start. I actually just started playing more of my PlayStation 4, which I haven't done in years now. Every once in a while I'll boot it up to stream something or. But I haven't actually played a game on that thing. It's like myself in a room in a long time. Usually it's like I'll stream a game on there because it's just convenient, or I'll watch a movie or something. So yeah, I've been playing PS4 again. I'm not talking about anything on there today, so I can mention them. I was playing. I was streaming Kingdom Hearts, but I was playing some Dark Souls Remastered the other day, and I was playing. I've been slowly playing through Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut, which I bought a while back, and then never played through it. Man, that game's fucking beautiful. But it's just like I have a lack of PlayStation in my life, and also I don't want a PS5. There's like nothing there for me. So like I was like, oh, I guess I'll go back to play PS4 for a little bit.
I think I would like, and this is from an RPG perspective, I would like to go back to PS2 and actually like finish a lot of JRPGs there. Because that was during a time where I was just picking up games and then dropping them. And like I have experience with Final Fantasy X. Now I play the remastered versions of all these, but still, like that's where they originated. It's like I have experience with 10, didn't really get that far. I have experience with 12, probably more than 10, but still never beat it. There's like a lot of other RPGs were coming out, like Atelier Iris, which originally weren't like girly games. They were like just RPGs that had alchemy in them. So they were more classic than they are now. So those are pretty
Wait
cool.
a second. Is that the series? Is that the series you did for my channel where you threw in a thing and made a shoe or something?
I made a shoe.
What was that? Yeah, I remember for review month, you did a game that was like something right, like Atelier Riser or something.
Yeah, and it's
something
just
like
this
that.
chick. Like I'm just looking at the chick's boobs all the time, and their asses.
Yeah, but like you're like, but like one of the selling points near the end, you were like, you could throw in a post-it and make a shoe or something.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
what you said, but it's always so funny.
Yeah, it's just stupid shit in that game, and it's like it didn't used to be that way. It used to just like on PS2, it was just like a more traditional RPG that had alchemy in it, and then somehow it became about girls that did alchemy and would occasionally attack a monster. I don't know what happened with that series, but there's that, like the old Disgaeas. There's a lot on the PS2 that I think I overlooked, and I never really gave it its just due. So I think I'd probably like to do PS2.
I like the Game Boy games. I don't know. I mean, just playing Link's Awakening lately, it's been so much fun. They're short, they're sweet, and there's nothing like having an original Game Boy or Game Boy Color and just playing it like with no distractions. Uh, those units are really sleek. They fit in your hands well, though. Maybe, I'm remembering it because I was a kid, but like, I do think I would have a good time reliving the memories of the Game Boy. And I've always appreciated N64. I'd probably play some more N64 games. GameCube too. I was really appreciating playing Toadstool Tour and just iNinja lately. I just booted that up randomly, had a good time. So those are like three consoles I could always have a good time with.
This year I've been playing a lot of my 3DS again, and more specifically playing a lot of DS games, which has been fun. Experiencing DS games again because that's not a console I've delved into in a very long time. And the more DS games I play, the more I realize that the DS might be like the best Nintendo handheld because it's really fucking good.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, damn. I mean, like I like the DS back in the day, but that was also around the time that I sort of got out of playing a lot of handheld stuff. Like the end of the DS, around the 3DS life, like the beginning of 3DS life, I kind of got out of it for a bit. So going back, I've just been like, oh shit, this fucking console's great. So, I'm probably gonna keep playing DS games.
I remember when I first got into the 3DS, I was instantly reminded how great the DS library was because not a lot of 3DS games were coming out. I was waiting for Pokemon, and then I was like, what can I play on here? And it's like, oh yeah, there's like a bunch of DS games that are like RPGs. And then
were you pre Animal Crossing? Do you know? I'm trying to think of like when you got your 3DS.
Yes, I think so.
What about Mario 3D Land? Was that out yet? Do you know? Because it was like
I don't know. I wasn't.
I
wasn't really following those games.
Because I got it before Mario 3D Land, which there was nothing. There was nothing there. It was like Star Fox 64, Ocarina 3D, and Street Fighter. That's what you had.
Yeah, I think I remember that era, and I was like, why would I buy this? So I never even did it. And then when they announced Pokemon, the X and Y, I was like, okay, I'd like to get back and just try those because I had just been out of gaming. And then I said, but I'll wait till that comes out. And then I was getting really itchy to try it. I was like, well, is there anything I could play now since I know I'm going to get it? And then it's like, oh, Fire Emblem, whatever that one on there was. And so I did it. And then my other option was Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, which I have never loved that series, so I didn't get that. But
What about Pokemon Conquest? What about?
I looked into it. I didn't get it. I never got it, but I looked into it.
But no, it is great. So that's one that I'm probably gonna keep playing more games for, because I feel like I slept on it a little bit. You know, I played some games back in the day, but I feel like the library was deserved more out of me.
It's like Terry's
right.
got a
We
lot
can
to say.
We can catch up on Terry, and then we can start our talks. I guess, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're a buddy.
What's Terry got over there?
Terry's just talking about the PS2. He loves it. Obviously, Atelier Iris 2 is great. He gives me some requirements. I'm going to do whatever the hell I want. And then he said, I can't think of a specific console I need to play more of. I just need to play more games in general. More PC Engine games would be nice.
Yeah, I've never got outside of like some Bomberman and stuff. I've never dived into that library. So.
Yeah, me neither.
I like Bomberman.
Bomber
cute.
Boy.
Bomberman is such an underrated franchise, man. And it's also not at the same time.
I feel like it's rated just where it needs to be.
I don't think it's rated at all. I think that's the problem.
Yeah.
But also, if it is rated, it's like a 2.
It's like not a.
It's cool.
It's like a
it's
2,
good,
but like not a
but
bad 2. It's just like there's not a lot
No,
here.
it's just yeah. It's a respectable 2.
Yeah.
It's like I've never played a Bomberman game and been like, ugh, but I also never played a Bomberman game and been like, holy shit, this is reshaping my reality as I know it.
On the other thing, did you play the Xbox one?
No, I've never played X-Zero, and
That might
I
be
never
an
wanted to. That one might be the instance where it's like,
Yeah.
Teddy, you're the party leader today. We'll let you decide the turn order for our attacks.
Spencer, you're up.
All right. This is kind of impromptu, so I didn't have a lot of time, but I did want to talk, and this is, I guess, spoilers for the video that theoretically will be coming out after this. But I wanted to talk about my favorite Final Fantasy game, which is Final Fantasy IX.
You tell.
Shoot, hold on. There we go. So Final Fantasy IX was the last numbered Final Fantasy game released on the PS1. It's my favorite, as I just mentioned, my favorite Final Fantasy game. It is interesting because it's like it's considered the final hurrah of classic Final Fantasy before they moved on to the great Final Fantasy that it is today. But this was them taking everything that they'd created before and like mashing it, almost like Dragon Quest XI. But I would argue it does it better and more tastefully. Where it takes, it takes handfuls of things from every Final Fantasy and is able to put it in here. And it goes back to more of a classic setting, which I've always been a fan of. I don't like realistic or modern type settings for my Final Fantasies. I prefer it as a fantasy game, which nowadays they really go in weird directions with that, where I don't even know what stories they're trying to tell with modern Final Fantasy games. But back then it was just very much like a black mage, a knight, a rogue, a princess, and vagabonds in between. The story is fine. I generally have problems with Final Fantasy stories. They tend to get way over dramatic, especially in this era. And I don't really understand that. But what I think is special about the story here is that there's a lot of individual stories that are very satisfying and very memorable. Like you have Vivi, he's the black mage, and his story about what life means to him because he's theoretically a puppet. Steiner trying to understand what it is to be a knight and examining concepts about loyalty and what that means. Kind of like I almost, even though Steiner's one of my favorite characters, it is kind of a joke character. His story kind of reminds me of Metal Gear Solid 3, which is a really bizarre tie-in of just like understanding patriotism, loyalty, that kind of concept, and what your duty is and what that really means in the end of the day. And I think it's a story that doesn't really get told in Final Fantasy enough. I think it is in a couple of them, like 4, I want to say. But in general, it's a really interesting story. And then the other characters all have their things. There's a couple duds. Quina, every Final Fantasy's got the guy that you don't really care about. Whatever, that's Quina. But there's a lot of cool stuff. And I think the number one thing that makes this one special is the world. It is gorgeous, even on a PS1. And I'm a sucker for PS1 pre-rendered graphics. But this game takes it to a whole new level. It's so bright. It's colorful. Like, if you think of Midgar, whatever the opposite of Midgar would be, that's what like 90% of this game is. It's just this very bright, very cheerful, very friendly storybook setting. And it's, to me, it's like the penultimate Final Fantasy. Now, I have not beaten 6. I would love to go back and do that. And I'm sure I will at some point, probably sooner than later. But, and I do like 7 a lot, but 9 is definitely my favorite of the group. I'll say that in a much more condensed version when I do the video, which will be after this. But that is a spoiler alert that Final Fantasy 9 is my favorite Final Fantasy.
Metal Gear is the series, by the way.
Solid.
Metal Gear is what? Is the series
That I'd want to get more into.
Hey, that's a good series to get into.
Yeah, there you go. I've been waiting for somebody to pick 2 for the map out, but anyways.
Anyways,
hold on.
I'm not gonna pick it, but if somebody else wants to pick it, I'm just throwing that out there.
Fuck FF9.
Are you ready?
Are you ready?
Are you ready for that?
Yeah, you got your long game pick, so listen. I am so sad that my save data corrupted on my PlayStation 1, and I never finished Final Fantasy 9 because I really did like what I played of it. Almost like Chrono Cross-esque, like kind of maybe with the exploration or something. And maybe my memory is deceiving me, but I think it's like a perfectly balanced RPG. It's really well paced. The characters, I'm kind of like impartial to protagonists having or not having spoken dialogue. I think they handle it well in 9. He seems like kind of like a mischievous rascal. What's his name?
I don't ever know how to pronounce it. It's either Zidane or Zidane. I think are the 2 ways I've heard it pronounced before.
I like Zidane. He's kind of like your Romeo figure, but like an anthropomorphic one. Kid with the tail. And then Steiner was really cool. I do like him. I don't know how much I remember of BB, but no, it's a really good game.
Yeah, I mean, I respect the game. I haven't made it all the way through the game, but I have dabbled before, and I get what they're doing. I am curious, Spencer. You and I recently played 7 Remake, which I haven't talked about yet, but spoilers. I think 7 Remake is a commentary on remakes. But with them talking about the 9 Remake and stuff, what are your hopes for that? Like what do you think 9 Remake needs to do to live up to or surpass the original?
I don't believe that remakes should try to surpass. Well, I guess there's two things of thought. If the original game sucked, you should try to surpass it. Like if it was just generally received poorly. But the catch-22 is nobody will remake a game that was received poorly because nobody would buy the remake of it.
Yeah, nobody's gonna remake a bad game. Yeah.
So if you apply that filter, then I don't know if a remake should surpass it. I think what I respect about the 7 remake is that it gives you 7 but different. And I like that, where it's like, we're not going to beat 7 because you're beating like the nostalgia inside of a human being's brain that you can't you can't beat that. So let's just give them that, but something completely different, so we can make something else great that maybe they'll like. And to that effect, if they were trying to reinvent the wheel here, I mean, I'm down with something in the vein of like an action RPG, maybe like what they're doing with the Mana series. I think it would fit that, where it's more of like a more kiddie angle that they could take it. What I've heard about it is that it's not like an overhaul like 7. It's more of just a remaster in graphics, which I'm perfectly okay with. Bringing it into a new generation as is perfectly fine with me. Don't ruin the look of it, but just make it prettier, like upscale, but do it more natively. But yeah. If they're gonna do a remaster, I'd say clean up the story. Terry mentioned a spoiler. I know we do this talking about what they're talking about later, but he did mention that the ending is a little crazy. It is. It's very stupid, which is not unlike a lot of Final Fantasies in this era, which to me, I would guess is every Final Fantasy in this era. It's like you start out fighting, rats and stuff, and you're like, who's my enemy? It turns out at the end, it's sorrow. Your enemy is hate. The concept of hate is your enemy. They all get that way, and it's so stupid. But yes, I think they could retouch the ending, try to make it a little bit better. And it's kind of a spoiler for theoretically my channel of when we talk about Final Fantasy VII. But I think go into it with the concept of explore. I think this is a world that you should want to and be able to explore to its depths.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, like I said, I have a lot to say on how they handled the 7 remake. I mean, again, I'll get into it more when we actually talk about it, but like they almost made the players' nostalgia and need to keep, like, it's almost like a remake that doesn't want to be a remake, and then they made the players' nostalgia a force in the game that to keep the story on track. Like, it feels like a commentary of Square being like, "You fuckers want a remake?" It's very strange how they handled it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that works for 7 because 7 is such a well-known game. I don't think they need to do that again. I think with 9 remake, they should just make it the best version of 9 they can, to deliver a faithful experience that doesn't go too far off the rails. You could add stuff, sure, in a remake. It's fine. Plenty of games do that. Even Resident Evil did that like 5 years after the first one. But like, keep it feeling fresh and like faithful to the original. That way, you can attract new players and old players, and not have whatever the hell 7 remake did, because it's weird. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
How likely do you think a 9 remake is?
It is. It's
well,
happening.
No, it hasn't been officially announced, but it's part of it's part of an.
No, I heard from a leak. I heard from Leaky Joe.
I heard from Leaky Gut that it's Kona.
Get Joe on the TV.
So Teddy, there is an NVIDIA leak a long time ago. There was I don't know why it was specifically NVIDIA, but they had like a list of games that I think they were either supporting or something, and they had, I don't remember the exact details. I'm sure somebody could fill you in on it, but there was a list of games that were on it that had not come out yet, but that were theoretically in development, that were being that it leaked out, and supposedly on accident. And a lot of those games ended up coming true, and one of those games that was on the list was Final Fantasy IX, as was Final Fantasy Tactics. So that's what everyone is assuming means it's a remake. And I've heard more rumors lately that it is true, that like more insiders are talking about it. So I think it is probably possible, but I'm hesitate to still say it's guaranteed. But I'm 95% confident it'll come out.
That's pretty strong. Is it the Final Fantasy game you most want, or like a remake for? Like the next Final Fantasy game that you want to be remade?
No. I would want I would want a very high end remake for 6. I think that game deserves it. But obviously they just released a Pixel remaster, so I'm sure they're like,
It already exists.
all done. And then I also, a weird one is I want them to remake Tactics, but I know they've remade it once with War of the Lions, but I want like more of a high end remake for that. I wish there was an avenue where I could play. I've tried to play that game a couple times, and it's so stiff and slow that I lose interest very quickly. But I do like tactics games. I think they could make it a little quicker and better. So I'd probably pick Tactics as a realistic pick, which they did say they were remaking. I don't know what that entails. If that was just like a bringing it to PC or as is, or I don't know.
And we're handing it to Forever Entertainment.
Oh, I'm not in the know. What does Forever Entertainment do?
They did the House of the Dead one, and then recently in Panzer Dragoon, and then recently they did the Front Mission remakes.
Oh, I never played those, but
I haven't played those either, but
Yeah.
I'm scared to because I know it's Forever Entertainment, and I'm like,
You look fine.
yeah. Part of me is like, I want to try them because I've always been interested, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't trust them, so I haven't. But that's a Square property, right? Is it? Is it?
Yeah.
Front Mission.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. So.
Alex, is 9 the Final Fantasy game you want most remade? Next?
No, it's 12. Come on, you know me. That's where I'm going.
you already got the Zodiac Age, buddy.
Well, you know what? To be fair, yeah, that is it's not a full remake, but it is a major improvement over the original release. So I am lucky I have that. But I would like to see the world and stuff expanded to it is still a PlayStation 2 game. So I would like to see it brought into a modern age, and because that's such a beautiful world anyway, and the cast of characters are mostly great. So it'd be a great game to have, and they can even change it to work with the modern style, I'm sure, and it would be fine, because I really think the setting and stuff is the greatest part of that game. So I just my brain just wants to see that. I'm scared to pick anything that's just a traditional turn-based one because then they won't do it. They'll be like, "Yeah, no, we're totally gonna remake Final Fantasy 1. Didn't you play Strangers of Paradise? It's a prequel to Final Fantasy 1. It's basically they'll do stuff shit like that, and they'll have action dudes and stuff in it." I'm like, yeah, that's not
Action dude.
action dudes.
Teddy, they played that.
Yeah, I know, but you know what I mean, though. That's not the same game, though. So I'm afraid that they'll do some shit like that, or they'll be like, "Well, it's a different timeline," or something. I don't know. It's so stupid. I don't know. Just
Stranger in Paradise is Final Fantasy 0.9.
There you go. I like that.
Just before 1. Just.
yeah.
Teddy, which one do you want to see?
I mean, it's hard for me to say as kind of the Final Fantasy novice of the group.
Well, I don't know. I think you could look
I've
at it
always
as...
been
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
interested in 8, but I know it's not good. So
Well,
make Final Fantasy 8 good, and I'll play it.
teach his own. I hate it.
Squall's cool.
I hate 8. It's almost like maybe the worst. Maybe not the worst, but in the bottom list for me.
I don't know.
But
I just say I don't know if that's the worst, man. The other day for this game talk, I actively tried booting up 13 and starting that, and I felt my soul leave my body.
Yeah,
I turned it off.
8's not the worst, but there are people that really, really like it. So maybe it isn't bad. You might like it. I don't know. I hate it. I'll tell you that much.
He was a hater, boy. He
I was
said,
a-
"See you later, boy."
Yeah, it was all those things. Yeah.
What were you going to say about how I should approach the question?
Maybe you could approach it as to what game have you not been interested to play that in the series that could maybe 8 was that, but that you would want remade that would make it more accessible to you?
Yeah, I think the thing that like puts 8 and even that generation in like that sweet spot is like if you remake any of the first 6 games, you're going to do a drastic overhaul. If
Mhm.
you remake like visually anyway, if you remake 10 onwards, you're really not changing much. 7, 8, and 9 are in that like nice area of like 3D gaming kind of was like just becoming mainstream. So there's a lot of room to polish and make these games shine. And I think 8 is the biggest turd of them all, of those 3 anyway. So it has the most opportunity for being made something.
Okay,
Yeah,
makes sense.
maybe 10. 10 might actually be okay. 10's not very good, but I see good in 10. You know what I mean? It's just like I don't like the game, but like I see potential in the game at points.
Potential. What's the 10 in potential?
Should we
Yeah,
talk to
Terry?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Talk to our new segment. Talk to Terry.
Hey, Terry.
What do you want?
Terry says.
So what do you want?
Terry disagrees with me about 9 basically entirely. The worst protagonist ever. Okay. Slow, unbalanced combat. I guess, but if you play the remake, you can speed it up, which is nice. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, the
He doesn't
Switch
like
port?
it. He clearly doesn't like 9. Okay. Yeah.
Hmm.
Let's see. The best remake was Odin Sphere Leaf Razor. There wasn't
I
enough
think that's Final
wrong
Fantasy.
with the original Final Fantasy VII to justify a remake, if you ask me. I think you're
Well,
you're misinterpreting
spoiler, they
why they
didn't
make
remake it.
remakes. Yeah, it's a remake. It's
Yeah,
just,
Shadow of the
Yeah,
Colossus
Sa-
got remade
Sa-
like what, 3, 4 times?
Well, that's still Shadow of the Colossus. Final Fantasy VII Remake is almost an entirely different game.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
It's just, yeah, it's like it's called. Okay, again, I don't want to get into it too much, but what other remake of a like really think about this? What other remake of a game is labeled itself remake? It really doesn't happen. They just
Resident Evil
call
4.
it. Yeah, but they didn't call it remake. They just call it Resident Evil 4. It's not like remake isn't in the official title. 7 remake has remake in the official title, and yet it follows absolutely nothing to be a remake. It's again almost like they're making a commentary on being a remake. It's very weird. So it's almost just a completely different game.
we need a 2 Human remake.
Oh wait, no, we
he
need
thinks-
a 2 human burial.
You
Get
think
that thing out of here.
Final Fantasy 16 should be the Final Fantasy? Yeah, that's about it. Look, Terry,
I'm waiting. You know what? After we complained about, well, not we, but Spencer and Justin complained about 16. They announced 16's coming to PC, so I can actually play it now. I'm gonna reserve all judgment until I actually get to play it. You know?
I mean, you might like it. Yeah, it's
You might be the target audience. Yeah.
Devil May Cry
I might.
style, right?
I might.
You like Devil May Cry?
I'm gonna try it. And I'm gonna see how it goes. And I could hate it. Who knows?
There you go. What
You
about
guys playing
Rebirth?
Black Myth Wukong?
I haven't touched
What?
it yet. I'm waiting for it to go on sale.
What?
Okay.
Black Myth Wukong.
Are you playing Black Myth Wukong?
Earth Defense Force 6? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Black Myth Wukong was recently compared to Devil May Cry for me. I kept hearing Souls-like, but I guess it was DMC style. So that's why I was curious.
Every action game's a damn DMC game, and every hard game's a Dark Souls game. I'm sick of comparisons, man. Everybody shut up. Just play games.
Can we quote you on that, Alex? Everybody shut up.
Yeah, go ahead. Clip that. Everyone shut up. Just play games.
That sounds like
That'd be our
an
new
old
outro.
Sega or PS1 thing. Shut up and play. Like that kind
Shut up and play.
of EA Sports. Shut up and play.
It's... I'm gonna start calling every FPS game a Doom clone
There you go.
again.
Yeah.
Okay.
A Doomer clone.
Doomy is it? Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Doomer.
Yeah. How doomy is it? Is it?
Scale of 1 to Doom. How Doom is it? It's Wolfenstein.
Is it Doom or is it Doomed? There you go.
There you go. Is it Doomed? It's a great
Yeah. Is it
Doomed?
video game series.
Is it doomed?
They should, because it's so like video game journalism now is so negative that they should just like forego the idea that something could be good and just be like, how bad is it? Like that should just be the mantra of every reviewer at this point.
Yeah.
Oh, it's bad.
How shitty is this game? Just how shitty.
I love when I go on like Xbox or Steam or something and I look at a review of a perfectly fine game, but it's like, yeah, but you can't change your name on the online. 1 star.
Yeah.
And I'm like, shut up, man. Just play the fucking game. I hate gaming. Yeah, but I can only buy it on the Epic Store. Fuck you, dude. Just fucking buy it on the Epic Store. Shut up.
Yeah.
Who cares? Who cares? Oh, garbage.
All right. Well, it's Teddy's month, so do you want me to change it or do you want to pick the next person, Teddy?
I'll just give it to Alex. You
Okay.
can go next.
All right, cool. So back in the year 2021, a lot of RPGs were coming out.
Hmm.
And a lot of them were games I wasn't interested in because most of them were HD 2D style games. Make me want to vomit. But a lot of them, the Switch was just getting a lot of RPGs. I'm talking a shit ton of RPGs. I'm talking we're within like a year after COVID, so the RPG rain is still coming in, and it was almost like too many, like almost too many to play. And one series started in 2021 that I think really went under the radar that I'm going to talk about today that relates to not only Final Fantasy, but like old school 8-bit RPGs in general, which, Final Fantasy helped to pioneer. I'm going to talk about Voice of Cards, The Isle Dragon Roars today. Voice of Cards is by my boy Yoko Taro. But it is not part of the Nier or Drakengard series. It is its own entity. And there have been 3 of them so far. And you can actually buy them all in a bundle now. It costs about as much as the full game. Voice of Cards is almost the opposite of every other RPG that was coming out at the time. Most of the RPGs coming out at the time were praised for having 50, 60-hour campaigns and HD 2D polished graphics and 15 playable characters with stories. Voice of Cards boils everything down to its basics. Voice of Cards is a love letter to 8-bit style RPGs, but it is told in the style of a tabletop RPG. The way that this works is that everything in the game is represented by a card. Now, do not get this wrong. I think this is failed marketing on their front. This is not a card collection game. If you're going to compare this to like something like Magic the Gathering, you are wrong. This is a turn-based RPG. They just use cards as replacements for, say, panels in an old-school 8-bit RPG. So the layout of the game is on a table, and cards lay out the map. You have a game piece, and whenever you move, the cards flip and reveal more of the map, and there's towns, dungeons. Basically, it's recreating an old-school 8-bit RPG, but with cards, which is really creative. Whenever you go into battle, random encounters, a slab has been placed on the table over the map, and you're now in a battle. And it is just a turn-based battle. Everything is just represented by cards, but it is still just a turn-based battle. And again, I think that's where a lot of people get caught up. They don't know what this game is. They think it is a card collection game. It is not. The only thing in the battle system that comes from that genre is that instead of having MP, like in most RPGs, you have these crystals that act as like a source. So like every turn you get one more crystal added, and if you don't use it, so you have one crystal, you don't use it for that turn, 2 crystals are now in your bank. And then so all the characters all kind of pull from from that one like power source. Which is does come from like Magic the Gathering, but that's the only thing in the combat that does. Everything else is classic RPG combat. What's interesting about Voice of Cards is that, again, it kind of takes the opposite approach of every other RPG coming out on Switch at that time. By not being a 60-hour game, not being a 50-hour game, not even being a 30-hour game, these games take 15 hours to complete. And there are 3 of them, and you can buy them all in the bundle for about $60. So basically, you're buying a full price game, but with like 3 different stories if you want it. But today, I'm just talking about the Isle Dragon Roars, which is the first one. It plays up conventions in traditional RPGs that I think is interesting. Again, it is a Yoko Taro game. None of the story gets as dark as most Yoko Taro games, but there still are some Yoko Taro isms here in the game. Take, for example, the fact that you're not playing as the JRPG heroes like you normally would. The story of the game sees a queen call for the execution of a dragon. And there is a much bigger band of heroes that are going for this dragon, and they represent the standard RPG party. You're a bunch of ragtag losers, and you're also going for the dragon. And all the characters are flawed and weird and funny, actually. There's some pretty funny moments where they kind of make fun of the way characters are written in JRPGs. I was playing yesterday, and I had a really funny moment where I came across like this piece of treasure on the ground or something. It was like a coin, and like, but it was like the main character went to pick it up. The mage Melanie asked why you care so much, and it's like, and then you start to explain that whenever you were a kid, money was hard to come by, and it was like, but then you stopped explaining because you realized your character just isn't that deep, and I was like, that's pretty funny. They just completely dropped the backstory altogether because nobody cares. And the entire game is narrated by like a games master, like if you're playing like a tabletop game. So the whole game's voiced by one dude. He does all the voices for the characters. He narrates the story. As you go through the worlds, you'll find different little events that you can trigger, where it's like you found a goblin that's been paralyzed. Will you give the goblin a potion or would you not? And it is a Yoko Taro game, so sometimes you got to pay attention and not do what's expected, because sometimes it's like, oh sure, I'll help him, and then you help him, and then he'll fucking rob you or something, So then you just wasted a potion and you got robbed. And there's a lot of choices like that throughout the game, where I really had to put on my thinking cap and be like, should I do what's expected here? Because I feel like if I do, I'm gonna get fucked over. And I don't know. It's just a really refreshing game. It's short, like I said. All 3 of the games are very short. The combat never gets too difficult, and is actually very relaxing with its presentation and gameplay. And it's important to note that around this time, Yoko Taro this was one of like 3 projects he was working on, because he was doing a couple phone games, which this did come out on Android and iOS in 2023 eventually. But these were actually first conceptualized as phone games. And then I think it was maybe Square or somebody else pushed him to make them Switch games first, and then they came to other consoles and stuff. But also around this time, he was working on that Nier phone game, Nier Reincarnation. And then he has another phone game too. It's like Soul Alice or something. So he was kind of doing that stuff for a little bit during this time period. So it is important to note that like this is a smaller project compared to most of his games. But I think if you're a fan of like old school JRPGs, these have been greatly overlooked within like the current Switch library. And you can find them on sale all the time now, because we're a few years out from when they released.
I understand from the way you described it, and just from looking at some of the gameplay trailer, that the world is the cards, right? Like the cards expand as you're traveling. Is there no card gameplay mechanic?
No. No, there are no card gameplay mechanics. It's just the art style itself.
Okay.
There is like like not like the main battle mechanics, but like there is like a side game you can play in the world where you play a card game against other people, but that's just like a fun little side thing you can do. It's not has nothing to do with like you can go the whole game without even seeing that. So, but that's just a fun little thing you can do. And I don't think I even play it that much. I think I've dabbled in it a little bit. You could play it to get some treasure, but just the main game and the main combat. No, there are no card mechanics involved.
Do you like the visual aesthetic of cards in this game?
Yeah, I do. It was strange at first, but I find it to be oddly like relaxing, and like the fact that it's all narrated by one voice, and he's like, "You find a goblin walking, across the thing." It's like, do you, it's like the goblin's in need of help. He says, "Help me, I'm a goblin." I don't know, It's like, will you help the goblin? I don't know. It was like oddly relaxing, and like the fact that you're like in like this cozy table environment with these cards, and or like it all just feels very cozy. So I think it adds to the atmosphere of the game to me to have that like aesthetic, like that tabletop aesthetic with the cards. So I like it.
Yeah. I was gonna say it sounds like you're playing or you're in a tabletop game or something. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. It feels like you're at a table playing with somebody else. They're like making the story for you as you go along.
When you said that if you're a fan of classic JRPGs, which ones are you equating it to?
This game specifically, the Owl Dragon Roars, I would say Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy. Dragon Quest in the sense that it is a game where you are after a dragon, and it's always kind of just like based on this simple plot of defeating a dragon. But also, I'd say Final Fantasy, the early Final Fantasies, for the party system, and also just you go to different towns, you explore different towns. Each of the towns have like a little bit of a story going on. I actually went to one today that was interesting. I went there and like all the people in the town are like zombies almost, and they're all addicted to potions, which is funny because usually a potion is something good in a JRPG. But they're all addicted to drinking potion, and they're all asking you for medicine. And if you give them the potion, they just run off with your potion. So again, it kind of subverts some of the expectations, but it still is deeply rooted in like classic JRPGs from like the NES era.
Yeah, it's interesting that you told me that the combat there's no card based combat, because that's definitely one of the main reasons I didn't buy this. My finger was hovering over it on this one, but
I think they did a poor job explaining that, explaining what the game is, for all three of these, which I think caused them to go unnoticed by most of the RPG fan base.
Yeah, 'cause I like D&D, but I don't particularly love like the general tabletop thing with people. I've played them before. I don't know. They're just not. I think I like to keep D&D and games separate usually. Now Baldur's Gate has kind of bucked that trend, and a couple of the other RPGs are able to buck it. But hearing that it's not really D&D, it's more just like a traditional turn-based, it's good to hear.
Yeah, the only things I said, like the MP system, where that does kind of pull from card games, that's the only thing that kind of relates to that. In terms of like tabletop, the only thing that relates is that you will do a dice roll for some attacks, but usually they tell you ahead of time, like if you have your, like you have your setup, you can put 4 attacks on a character, and then some of them will say like, okay, roll for lightning. If you roll above a 4, you'll inflict paralysis. So whenever you do that attack, you will do a dice roll.
I mean, that's
cool.
that's basically how most RPGs work anyway, right? It's just behind the scenes.
Yeah, but it's just you actually do a dice roll on the table.
Yeah.
So.
I played a game like that for 3DS that I really liked. It's called Crimson Shroud by Level 5.
Okay.
So I might like it.
Yeah, maybe I'll give this one a shot now that I know it's not card.
It's good. They're short. They're short and sweet. The only complaint I have is that there's no way to adjust the difficulty. And I haven't played through the other two yet. I want to. That's partially why I chose this, so I can have an excuse to play more of it. But in terms of this game, I looked it up, and there's no way, even after you beat it, to adjust the difficulty. And some of the combat can be easy. So I wish there was a way to make the combat a little harder. But I'm trying to think of like why he chose that direction for the game. Like maybe he's trying to make something that's a little more, beginner friendly for a JRPG or something. I don't know, but I wish there was an option to maybe do a new game plus that is harder or something, because the combat is fun, but sometimes I feel like it is a little mindless with some of like the random enemies you encounter, where I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna do the same 3 attacks I always do.
Have you played every Yoko Taro game?
Not that Soul Alice phone game. That's probably it. That's probably the one I haven't played.
Do you have like a
Because it's a
quick
phone game.
placement for where this would be ranking wise?
Oh yeah, sure, I could do that. Do you mean to rank like individual games or series?
Individual games.
Okay. I would definitely, because the quality of these games are really, really well, like great. I would put. I'm putting them under both of the Nier games just because they do lack some of the more like philosophical elements that the Nier games have that make them intriguing to me. And also the Nier gameplay is just fun as hell anyway. I'm gonna put them under Nier but above Drakengard, because the Drakengard games, all 3 of them, are fun games, but they especially the first game, they use the monotony of their gameplay as a story element, which is smart and also confusing, because if the game is monotonous and boring, who's going to want to keep playing it except for those that care about the narrative? So I'd say it's somewhere in the middle there between his works. I think there could be more to expand upon here that he could easily expand upon if he like chose to. Again, at the time he was doing smaller projects. If he chose to focus on Voice of Cards and do like a longer or like a more full-fledged outing, but I don't think that's the point of the games. So yeah, I'm gonna put him in the middle.
Cool.
Yeah.
I hear your voice.
You like, yeah, if you like dragons, this is a game where you quest for one. So spoiler alert: it may not go the way you expect it to.
Terry says it sounds like Voice of Cards sounds like a mix between Unlimited Saga and Bait and Kados. I don't think it would be Bait and Kados, right? Because you don't use cards for
Right.
anything.
That's the mismarketing, though. That's why it sounds like it.
Oh, okay.
So you got fooled, Terry. Think again.
You got a case of the sounds like.
Yeah.
Sounds
You're
fine.
doing the view of cards. What it sounds like. That's right. You have to listen for the voice of the cards.
Yeah, they're trying to talk to you, Terry.
Oh, I do want to mention a funny moment that happened yesterday too that I forgot to mention. So we did encounter the dragon for the first time. We fought it, and then it escaped. But in escaping, it charred my mage girl that I have on my team. So she was like gonna die, and I had a choice. Part of my party is there's this medicine doctor who's super buff. He's part of my party, and that's like his thing. He's like a big muscly man, and I could either do something. I forgot what I could leave her there because it's not my problem, or give her a supplement that he created. So he gave her the supplement because I wanted to save her, and then she's good. She's recovered, and then like a few minutes later, we have to push this boat into the water so we can sail across the sea. And we're not able to do it until she walks on the screen and her character portrait has changed and she's like a buff mage girl now, like super buff, and she like helps him throw the boat into the ocean. and then later on it wears off. She's back to normal. But I was like, that was pretty funny. It was like she was fucking jacked. And I was like, holy shit. Hell yeah.
I do want to correct you, Alex. You said that in Dragon Quest you're trying to kill a dragon. You're actually trying to kill the Dragon Lord. There's a
Whatever,
big
it was-
distinction between that.
Same thing.
It's not the same thing.
Same thing, Spencer. Dragon Lord, Ganondorf, right?
You're trying to kill the Ganondorf,
Not Ganondorf.
not the Ganon. Just trying to clarify that. Terry says pot addiction is a common thing, Alex. And he wants you to do a challenge run that will make the game harder.
That would make it harder if I like limited myself in some ways. But I feel like that's still not good. Like that's still a problem for the game if I have to do that to make the game harder for myself.
Terry asks, I'm not sure why he's asking us, but if you get to eat children in Voice of Cards.
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
Again, I haven't played the other ones, which are I'll tell you the names of them. So in case people want to play these games, the second one is the Forsaken Maiden, and the third one is the Beast of Burden. The Beast of Burden. So I haven't played through those yet. I'm going to get to them eventually, but in this one, no, I have not eaten any children yet.
Terry says, but you do.
I think he asked that because there's giant demonic babies in Drakengard that eat people.
Oh.
That's an ending in Drakengard 1, and there's a giant demonic baby that eats one of your party members that is a pedophile. So it's kind of
Self-serving justice.
a giant demonic baby.
Oh, the
eats
baby
pedophile.
eats a character that's a pedophile. I
Yeah,
gotcha.
the character in your party is a pedophile, and then he gets eaten by a giant demonic baby. Because that's Yoko Taro for you, buddy.
Yeah, that's the ultimate irony is the baby eating.
Gotcha.
Eating the pedophile.
Yeah.
Terry should have been raped by the giant baby. But Terry says, but you do kill dragons in Dragon Quest, so Alex is not wrong. No, he is wrong. Because the quest in Dragon's Quest is not to kill a dragon, it's to kill the Dragon Lord. Just like you wouldn't call it, the quest is to kill a slime because it's not the quest, but you do kill slimes in Dragon Quest. So Terry, you are still incorrect.
Well, it's not called Slime Quest, I can tell you that much.
Yes. You're correct. Teddy, do you have a game for game time?
Yeah, I do.
I want to play.
So I played an hour of World of Final Fantasy, and it was so bad I just dropped it. Sorry.
It's not very good.
Alex
you're right.
recommended it. Yeah. It was like Pokemon but dumber, and that's really a feat. I don't want to spend today bashing it, so I'm going to talk about something else. So it was so bad that I just thought I need to play the best game of my life, and that's why I bought Elden Ring. And I put a good 10 hours in now. So I started on Sunday, was not able to play all week. I was hungover from a staff party yesterday, so perfect opportunity to just stay in and game all day. And then I played a little bit more this morning. I got 10 hours in a bandit class, level 30. I've just been loving exploring the world. It is an RPG lover's RPG. It is the most RPG I think I've ever played. Now, this is Final Fantasy month, and I mean, to me, like, there are correlations here, although I'm not going to drag them. This really does feel, like I said, like an RPG to the fullest, and it just feels like such a game. Like, there's so much game to Elden Ring. And you know, when you're starting off, like it makes you work for everything. I will say the reason I picked it too, and I trusted buying Elden Ring is Spencer had talked about last time on the Game Talk about how it was really hard for him to get into Dark Souls until he played Elden Ring. And so I went with it. And for the record, I have tried Dark Souls, dropped it, and I just did not feel confident in my ability in it. This one makes me feel more confident in my ability. Even though I can get absolutely wrecked by a guy on a horse within the first hour of the game, I can just go another direction. There's just so, like, the world is so massive. My biggest regret is actually just looking up information to talk about this game because I didn't have all the nomenclature ready to talk about. And I just saw the number of worlds and levels. And I'm kind of disappointed I did that because it kind of takes me back to when you just feel like you get lost lost in a game because there's so much to do, but you never really feel lost. There's all of these like these gates of light. I don't know exactly what they're called, but you can teleport there on the map. So even if like I go one area and then there's a great enemy or a beast, I guess, and I can't take him down because I'm not skilled enough or I haven't leveled up enough or I don't have the great equipment for it. I could just go to the other side of the map and try a different one. And there's so many remarkable, fantastic creatures in this world that it is just so memorable. I think back to last Sunday. I think for the first couple of hours, it's just so much learning too about what am I doing in this game. I started off with a dagger and a shield, and I don't think I found much equipment for a while. And then I realized, oh, I've been using a dagger this whole time, like a little freaking knife. And so just recently I upgraded to a sword, and it's made my game so much better. Like I really feel more equipped to take down enemies. Now it keeps going further. I didn't realize there was a smith in like this cathedral area that you can go to upgrade the sword. And then there's these things called ashes of war that you can implement on the weapons in order to give them special abilities. And the more that you get the hang of like all the different mechanics, the more it opens itself up to you. Now, contrast this with the Strangers of Paradise game, with the Final Fantasy game I played recently, which is it's clearly Souls-like from, what I'm playing of this now. Okay, big brain fuck here. But what I don't appreciate about that game is that it's just overwhelming you with information. Like it's really just trying to tell you everything. Elden Ring tells you almost nothing. It's like you can figure this out. It almost believes in you to figure it out. And I think I just really like that. And there was I felled my first great enemy last night, I guess to progress the storyline. And it just felt like such an accomplishment because I think I had gone at that thing 20 times. And I did get better. I didn't get better. And, I went out and I grinded and then I leveled up my guy a little more. But I just learned the way to parry, to roll, to strike, and to distract. And it's really such a satisfying experience in that way. I'll also say this. I'm a big Zelda fan, and one game I never got into was Twilight Princess. But one thing I think Twilight Princess promised was this epic horseback combat. And I don't think Twilight Princess really delivers on that front. It has scenes in the game where, yes, you're on a horse and they're on a hog. But this game maybe has some of the most satisfying steed combat that I've experienced in a game. And it's real simple. You're on the steed, strike, or you could do the heavy strike right, heavy strike left. And I used that a couple times to take down enemies, like big enemies on the overworld. And I'm really enjoying it. There are a couple things that like I still don't fully understand at about the 10-hour mark, and it's not that I don't understand them. Like I'm beginning to understand them, but like I'm at 10 hours. I have nothing invested in intelligence. I guess I got a pretty dumb character. But I did buy a heal spell, but I don't have a wand or a staff, and you need one to cast. And then also I felled some like beasts or like the death. I don't even know. He's like the tibia guy on the water. He's a representation of death. And then you can go and you get like a summons, but you can't use the summons if you don't have another like incantation or something, or like your faith level needs to be a certain height. So like there are a bunch of stipulations that I think are like it's kind of bizarre. It doesn't matter. I don't really need to summon skeletons, and I also don't need a health spell. I have 6 flasks right now that I can use to regenerate at any time. It's just interesting to me that like it really puts a lot of pressure on you to build the type of character that you envision yourself running the game with. And so I'm having a blast right now at where I'm at, and I could definitely see myself finishing it before the year's up. The tragedy is, it's just like, and this is why I stopped Breath of the Wild, is because I didn't have time to just sync. And this is a time sync game. This is a game where you really feel like you're in the game. Like you just, like I could play for an hour, sure, but I almost feel like I've done nothing and I want to keep going, and I know I can't do that during the week. So this is almost like a weekend-only game for me. But I am really liking it. I'm glad I'm playing it.
That's good.
Yeah. all transparency, I haven't played it yet. I think I'm the only one here now, which is funny. But like Teddy was just saying, not because I don't want to play it, but because I want to only play it when I play it. I want to just be able to jump into that. And I was going to ask you, Teddy, because I know you've tried Dark Souls, and I know previously we've because I was talking alongside you when you're playing it. We tried to get you to a point in Bloodborne, as well. Now, kind of two questions. For one, like, how would you compare this game to, say, a Breath of the Wild? And does playing the 10 hours of this game make you feel more confident in going back to something like Dark Souls or Bloodborne?
First, how do I compare it to Breath of the Wild? I think it's like Breath of the Wild in the middle fucking ages where knights and monsters are just, you're really at their disposal. Like, this game makes you feel you died. It says it in big bold letters. It's almost like a Resident Evil game over, like
Classic.
Yeah.
But I think I really appreciate that too, because like it really does make your deaths felt. Like, there's an XP system, and you can go back and you have to reclaim your. I don't know exactly what they're called. They're not souls. It's something else, and it's basically your currency
Eldens.
for your rings.
Elderberries,
your runes.
Elderberries.
There we go. But that's the currency for everything. For weapons, for leveling up, and you don't want to lose that. And I don't really feel that as much in Breath of the Wild. In Breath of the Wild, I feel more explore. I don't feel more like like the real jeopardy of being a nomad.
Okay.
I'm perfect. I'm going to stay. Oh. The other question was, what about?
Do you feel more? Which is funny because you're describing things in this game, and I'm like, oh, that's just Dark Souls.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, it's like
It's
like,
from software, so I mean,
which is funny because right now I'm replaying Dark Souls Remastered and falling back in love with that game. So yeah, I just curious, like does playing this up to this point now make you feel more confident in playing the older games?
I don't know. Because I didn't play Dark Souls that long ago, and I kept getting stuck at the same segment. And maybe, especially with Bloodborne, like those games have a very predetermined path for you to follow, at least of what I played. And Elden Ring doesn't. And
yeah, they do to a point. The Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 3 and Bloodborne especially have predetermined paths, but they branch. The only one that doesn't do it as well is 2. 2 just kind of sends you on predetermined paths, and you don't really get to veer that much. But there's like intricacies in the Dark Souls and Bloodborne pathways that like you upon dying and replaying and the dying and replaying, you start finding them as you play on more.
yeah, I by the time I was felling big enemies, I had really leveled my character up. And I feel like it kind of throws it in your face very early on in Bloodborne. Dark Souls, not so much. I haven't gotten far enough to tell you that. I would probably feel more confident with the roll evades and the parry, although I don't have a perfect parry down yet. I understand the shield stamina system a little better. So we'll see. I'm not like as sold in like getting into Souls, but I'm open-minded. I would try them again after Elden Ring. I'm not jumping to go play them right now.
All right. Well, let us know, and me and Spencer will make you a jacket so you can join the club.
Yeah. I'm gonna stay purposefully vague because you clearly want to be kind of blind for this, so I don't want to spoil too much for you. But for the summons, just look it up. Just go to Google and say, how do I summon in Bloodborne? Or sorry, in Elden Ring. They don't tell you anything, and it's a stupid mechanic. So you'd be way better off just looking it up.
Is it something you think I should do?
Yes, definitely. It adds like a Pokemon element to the game, which is kind of fun. Which obviously you like Pokemon, so I think you should, and it's a fun part of it. And it makes the bosses a lot easier because it gives the bosses sometimes other targets to attack that aren't you. So it's a great way to give
Yeah.
you like a helping hand, especially for a new guy. Because I'm assuming you haven't fought Margit yet.
I think I did. What does Margit look like?
He's like on a bridge, and he's like a big.
Yeah, he's like floats in the air. He's my great enemy that I felled, and I did it with a cooperator. There's like a little summon thing.
Okay, so like a
You can
summon would
have
be
somebody join
would
you.
take that place, and it's just something you can always just summon it yourself. You don't have to have like another person there. That's essentially what a summon is.
Okay.
I recommend it.
Yeah, don't doubt me, Spencer. I beat Margit.
Well, I mean, you had to summon for it, and it's not.
No, it's true.
And
I know.
it is hard. It's hard, and with the summons it helps, and it's fun to collect them because then you can have like a little
I don't. Yeah,
side character.
without the summon, I don't think I could have done it.
So yeah, I recommend doing it. Just look up a guide. It's really dumb when you read it. You'll be like, that's really stupid. It's like a series of actions you have to complete to get it.
The main part I'm really like pushing past that castle area, and there's like a couple like knights that just like will 3-shot you and not give you enough time to use your flask. So I could see it being helpful for something like that.
You can only summon them in certain areas. I can't remember if that is part of it, but in general, yes, they will help you out. I'm trying to stay very vague because I don't want to ruin, like I said, any of the details. But one quick tip I can throw at you is just upgrade your vigor, especially as a newer player. That's very important. Get that to as high as like I think it's 60 is the soft cap, or maybe a harder cap or something, whatever for it. But vigor is important. And then aside from that, I won't tell you anything. I wanted to ask you, have you done any like of the dungeon style content that there are? Like entered any caves, entered any fortresses?
Sure. Yeah, I have. I'm always hunting for like treasure and stuff, like, and just whatever's in the like the basements. There's like a sorceress lady. One of the first areas unlocked, there was like some pumpkin head in like a basement, and that was pretty cool. And then like there's another one. There's this like Deathbringer or something. He could like blood loss you real quick. And in general, I'm just exploring anywhere and everywhere. And if I get fed up with one area, I just go back to another. And I wanted to ask you about why you recommend going so high for vigor when your potions only restore so much health.
So, well, you're asking me, so then I can tell you some of those things.
Because I have some other issues, like my loadout with like a brass shield and a sword and like decent armor puts me in the heavy load category, and then I start rolling slow. So like to me, it's like I need endurance to make that a medium load.
Yeah, so the game it's so complex and customizable to your style that you can either be like a heavily armored person and then you'd have to build endurance, or else because you do not want a fat roll. Fat roll will reduce your iframes. So yeah, if you really want to be a guy that wears a lot of armor, then yes, you'll have to build a lot of endurance. The thing is with vigor is, as you've clearly understood, it'll increase your health, so you'll be able to take more hits. Yes, potions currently don't, the way that you're playing. I'm trying again. I don't want to spoil too much, but the way you're playing, it doesn't seem like the potions are healing a lot of your health. But as you collect, there are items around the world that will increase the efficacy of your potions, so you'll be able to heal more with them. And therefore, if you can take more hits, the more hits you can take as a newer player, the more you can read bosses and understand what they do, and it'll make the learning curve easier to be able to counter them. In future playthroughs, which I'm sure you'll do once you get the hang of it, you'll say, maybe I don't need so much in vigor now because I kind of know what I'm doing. But as a newer player, vigor is the most important stat because you won't get one shot, which will happen in this game a lot, and in a lot of Souls games, as I'm sure you've realized. What do you think about the game? And as like a Zelda player, I always thought that this game was like if they could have made Zelda back in whenever they made the first Zelda. It's like it's kind of that. But what do you think of this game as like old school roots? Where do you think it fits?
Etrian Odyssey.
Oh wow, I didn't even think of Etrian Odyssey.
It's just the scope and the gravity of these monsters that are patrolling. Like, you know, like you'll fight like pretty common enemies, and they'll basically be an FOE. Like,
Mhm.
these guys are gargantuans. I just got teleported to like the beast area, and then there was a fucking Gryphon just standing there with his axe, and I just hit him for fun. And he just turned around and slammed me one shot. I'm like, not doing that again. But the game is full of stuff like that, and I really love it. Guys, they'll just pop out of the ground. You can really underestimate characters' power, and then also the scope of like how dying feels, how much you lose when you die.
I did want to ask a question, but first I will just say I will proudly fly my World of Final Fantasy flag high. But you are playing this on the Series S, I take it.
Yes.
Have you noticed any issues? Because like the Series S is the least powerful of the consoles that can play it. Have you noticed any issues with the game on the console? Like
So you
frame
can
rate,
prioritize performance or visual style. I obviously opt for performance. So what happens is some textures in the background will be I don't know about missing, but like a shade on like underneath the trees, or like the grass won't populate until you're in close proximity. It's barely noticeable for me, and I don't care about that stuff. I still think it looks great, and it just feels and plays great. I'm nervous to play it in visual style just because I don't want to lose performance. I don't want the game to chug, so I tend to avoid that. But I could try it. But I don't have issues.
Yeah,
Nothing has been like a major problem. I did kill a sword knight through the wall, but I kind of took advantage of that anyway. 'Cause it's like,
Hell yeah.
I could use this easy XP.
I haven't heard anything though. Yeah, so that's what I was asking. But you know, like there's some times where huge AAA games like this have issues on Series S. Like I talked about before, Resident Evil 4 Remake had some issues when it first launched on Series S. I had a few issues with Alan Wake 2. Nothing in game, but like crashes. Like the game crashed a few times on me on the console for some reason. And I've heard some stories about Baldur's Gate 3. I haven't experienced it, but and they even cut out the local co-op for that game for the Series S version. So I was just curious because I know this is a big game, and the Series S will go down in history as a weird mid-gen console almost. I was going to say something. Oh, you know, I was going to say, you know what? I haven't played this game. I want to, but I love the Souls games, and I just want to say, like, you know, it's so refreshing to play these games because, you know, like we have so many examples now of games companies not understanding what people actually want to play. I mean, we just saw that with that Concord game that died in 2 days or whatever from Sony. It's like, you know, and then I love the fact that FromSoft's able to make these games that almost spit in the face of like what like gaming companies think they have to do to make a traditional game. You know, they almost like invert all of it to make like almost close to being like the most non-approachable game series of all time, and they are so commercially successful. You know, and other companies still can't capture that magic that they have. So yeah, I'm excited to get to play this at some point. I really want to, but I just I want to wait until I just know I can just sit and play and not have to worry about like doing a map out or editing a video or going to work or whatever it is. If I have like a week where I can just do nothing, I'm just gonna be like, oh, Elden Ring.
Yeah, I mean, that was me on Friday. You're like, oh, you know, I don't know about Office 2 this week. I was like, all right, say no more. Elden Ring it is.
Terry clearly doesn't like this game. I don't know why. I'm sure he's played
Think
it.
you played it?
I'm
He's bad at it.
I'm
sure he's
That's
played
fine.
many hours of Elden Ring, so I'm sure he could.
I don't think
He probably played Demon Souls and was bad at it and was like, Dark Souls is shit. I'm not playing it.
Why did you pick that game?
Souls is the worst game ever.
He says Mountain Blade is
Lucky
better.
Ring. Okay.
Okay.
Mount and Blade. You know, the first time somebody kept mentioning Mountain Blade, I thought they were saying Mountain Blade,
Mm.
like the blade of the mountain, like a Mountain Dew.
I hear
Mount and do.
I hear Mount and Blade. I think of my wedding night.
Tis. See, he hasn't played Soulsborne games. So you're not actually a real. So you're not a real gamer. I see. You're a fake gamer.
Teddy, have you got
What
any
are these painkillers for?
Until you can beat Dark Souls 3 with the DK bongos, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah. Come at me with those bongos.
What were you gonna say?
Oh, he was talking when he was talking. Why did you pick that game? He was talking about World of Final Fantasy.
Oh, yeah.
I thought he meant Elden Ring.
Look, I played a little bit of that game. I played probably 20 hours of it because it was on the PS Vita, and there were not a lot of games on the PS Vita, so I played a good amount of that game, and I kind of side with you, Teddy, on that. It was kind of like Pokemon in some ways. I kind of liked it over Pokemon. Like there were customizable ways to level up the circular dot creatures that were in it. But it just kind of fell flat as like it's kind of dumb.
I liked I beat World of Final Fantasy on PS4, and this was like the same year that 15 came out, and I enjoyed it immensely more than 15.
Yes, I think it's better than 15.
To each their own, man. I thought it was a cute little homage to like classic Final Fantasy. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, I just feel like it insults my intelligence a little bit.
He felt insulted.
Dude, you play Nintendo games. They always insult your intelligence.
This is next level.
I mean, look, then at least you can't lose a battle. Then they're like, "Do you want to bring out Golden Donkey Kong to fight the battle for you, or whatever?" Because that's like Nintendo games. It's not on that level.
I won't have you besmirching Golden Donkey Kong. You leave him alone. You leave him out of this.
Don't worry, he'll be back.
But see, World of Final Fantasy just is Golden Donkey Kong.
There you go.
Nah, I guess I don't know. I don't know, man. I'm gonna fly my flag, but I also don't care enough to really defend it.
Well, that's it for Game Talk.
Yeah, we only had one person, Terry. I really like to think our audience.
I think next time you'll have to step up your Microsoft Paint ability.
True.
I'll add another. I'll add a third color.
Well, let's not go overboard.
No, you're right. Okay.
Want to
I
do
might add, like,
shade?
a sticker. I can add a sticker. Like a.
What would Ringo Starr do?
He would sell this picture for
$10,000.
$1,400.
He put a text image on the
on his
on the picture. Yeah, you should have put a text.
$1,400. There you go.
What? Your baby.
Your baby.
Your baby. I mean, look, I'm just happy I was able to depict. You clearly could tell that was Cloud, and you could clearly could tell that was a Chocobo.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as I'm concerned, I did my job.
It was a success.
Thank you. If Square Enix, if you want to call me for art director for the next Final Fantasy game, I know that Nomura's probably busy with Kingdom Hearts, so you can call me and I'll be the art director for the next Final Fantasy game.
Yeah.
And this is my resume right here. This one image.
I really like it. MS Paint focus going forward.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the MS Paint era of Final Fantasy.
I would love that.
Turbozone art gallery.
Ironically.
Yeah.
I would love that if they chose to do the oh dude, I didn't even notice. I just used the Turbozone colors to do that. I would unironically love if they just did next Final Fantasy game, but it just looked like that.
Yeah.
I'd be like, this is the best game I ever played in my life.
Sid, we need to widen your airship.
We got what? We got the meteor coming. We gotta stop it. What happened?
And you do all the sound effects.
Yeah. Dude, I just want to mention this. I didn't have enough time to do it. I was gonna watch because and in the last game talk, Spencer said Final Fantasy is not anime. So I almost watched the Final Fantasy anime, Final Fantasy Unlimited, because in that situation, Final Fantasy would have been an anime.
Just to spite me.
And I only watched one episode. It is all on YouTube, by the way. I only watched the one episode. This is from like 2004 or something. And at the end of the first episode, for one, the voice acting's terrible. It's just god awful. Like there's kids playing kids, which is never a good choice because the line delivery is bad. And it's like, come on, we gotta find our parents. Let's go. And it's about these kids getting transported to like a place called Wonderland and finding other people, and they find like this mysterious dude with a gun arm, a big golden gun arm. He's got like red hair and stuff. And then he fights this giant mushroom man monster at the end of the episode, and he shoots him in the eyeball, and he explodes or something. But I did like the fact. The only thing I liked from the whole episode that I watched was after he beat the battle. It went da 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 da, and I was like, yeah.
Satisfied.
That's Final Fantasy. Other than that, and like a chocobo, it almost had absolutely nothing to do with Final Fantasy. Yeah, and then I was like, do I care enough to continue with this? I didn't do it.
Yeah.
So
Well, make a video response, you fuckers.
There you go. Yeah.
yeah. Make a video response. If you don't make a video response, we'll come to your house, and we won't tell you when.
We'll beat you up.
So, oh no, I didn't say. I wasn't implying that. I just meant we'll show up and you'll be ill prepared. You'll be like, I don't have anything to offer to drink or anything. And we'll be like, well,
We got bagel bites.
Oh, I didn't stock. I haven't restocked yet. And we'll be like, well, we're hungry, so make us some food. Then you'll have to come up with something on the
This
fly,
is
you
your
know?
this is your notice. Yeah.
Yeah.
A video response. Stock up.
Stock up because we're coming to your house, and we're hungry.
Well, thanks for stopping by, Terry.
Bye.